And that's it, done. Hi guys, Tab here, hope you're all keeping well. Mixing things up a little bit on this video as I go from the usual 4 wheels to 2 wheels. This is my Ducati Diavel from 2013, all cool in that dark stealth matte black colour, all murdered out. Probably not showing up that well on camera, but you make up for it in terms of the noise so that people can hear you coming. But I love this bike. It's super comfortable to sit on, especially if you're slightly longer in the body like myself. I'm not so comfortable hunched over a sports bike, but this is great for longer journeys. Really nice riding position, kind of like a Sea-Doo that you might ride on the ocean. It's that kind of, not upright, but not too upright, but yeah, super comfortable and really a good bit of fun. And the reason for this video is not going to be massively exciting. It's a bit more constructive and productive and instructive, if you like, in terms of what we're going to be showing you. It's a battery change. Now, I've had this since 2013 and it's still on the original battery. Normally you'd expect about sort of 2-3 years max out of a motorcycle battery, but we're now in 2021, so this is a very old battery and it's no longer holding charge, so we're going to have to swap it out, and I'm going to show you how to do that in this video, so hopefully it'll come in handy if you're in the same boat, own a Diavel and just want to know what to do. So I'm going to go into as much detail as possible, and the approach. It's not a hard job, very easy job. I mean, I can do it, so anyone can do it, but yeah, let's go, let's dig in. But let's have a quick look around it. As you can see, super cool in black, kind of Mad Max-esque, a bit kind of futuristic. I do love the way it looks, the road presence that it has. It's just a great bike all round. They've really kind of broken the mold with this one. Definitely not a bike for everyone. It really divides opinion, this one. But I think, you know, if you're a motorcyclist, have a go on one, see what you think. It's the only way to find out. They're going for virtually nothing these days. You can get a good one for about 7 grand, but really cool bit of kit. And yeah, I'm a big fan. It's better than the X Diavel for me. You know, chain drive, kind of keeping it a bit more traditional. But yeah, it's a lovely bit of kit. Now, if you're serious about riding or maintaining your bike in any way, shape or form, and I do light maintenance myself, I don't go full on, I leave that to the pros, but this thing here is a track stand or paddock stand. Super helpful, helps for getting access to the bike underneath, and really handy for cleaning the chain as well, which you've got to do. That's one of the pet peeves, probably the most dull bits of bike ownership is cleaning the chain, but track stand is super easy to use and very helpful. So let's get this one on the bike now. And that's it, done. Right, so if we try cranking this now, you'll see that it's not happy. There's not enough power for it to go, so that's all we're getting right now. So hence new battery time. It won't even take charge. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is get hold of a set of Allen or hex keys from 3mm up to about 10mm should do. A set readily available anywhere. And the next thing you're going to have to do is get the belly pan off that you can see at the bottom of the frame there. And holding that in are 4 screws. One at the top, one at the side, one at the bottom, and one around the front, kind of over the grill that's in front of the oil cooler. Now, don't forget to put those down in the relevant order so you know which way they go back, because they're all slightly different in terms of the washers. So do bear that in mind. But this is a very easy process, and that is exactly where the battery is located, right behind that belly pan. Super easy to do. So let's get that off. So that's us with the battery now exposed that you can see here. And in order to get at the battery, we need to remove this plastic retaining cover that you can see. And to do that, a couple of bolts need to come out, located right here. And this bit can be a little fiddly, so do be brave and get the bolts out carefully, and then you've got to twiddle the plastic thing around to get that off. But it should kind of come off and slide down the positive wire. Okay, so with the plastic cover out the way, you should be able to gently tease the battery out. Now do go carefully here, because the wires will still be attached to the terminals and you don't want to stress anything. So do try and get the battery out of its holding position very, very slowly, just so that you're not going to pull anything or catch on anything. I also have the Optimate lead attached so that I can easily charge my bike, so make sure that's not tangled up in anything if you've got it fitted, and again you can easily get it past all the plastic casing to get it out of the housing. So it should wiggle out with a bit of a sort of gentle tease, and you should be able to gently produce it down onto the floor where you can get full exposure to all of the terminals. And the battery you need is a Yuasa YT12B BS, or anything that is compatible with that. Pretty cheap. I got mine for just under 50 quid. Now here's the important disclaimer bit. Whenever you are disconnecting or replacing a battery, here's the rule. If there's only ever one connection to the battery, one of those cables, that should be the positive cable. So when you're removing a battery, you should be removing the negative first, then the positive. When you're connecting a battery, positive first, then negative. That will prevent any arcing or sparking, risk blowing anything up, disintegrating yourself, and more importantly, shorting any of the electrics on the bike. So always remember, when there's one connection, that should be positive. Now, as you can see here, I tried to unscrew the terminals using a Phillips screwdriver, but found they were actually pretty corroded on, and the screws were beginning to round off, which is what you absolutely don't want to do, because you're in for a nightmare if that happens. So if you sense that you're going to round off your screws, don't keep at it. Try an alternative approach. In this case, the alternative approach was to reach for the trusty DeWalt power drill with an impact setting, and that's going to keep tapping at that cross pattern on the Phillips bolt head, the screw head, and eventually work it out without rounding it off. If it does start to round off, even with an impact driver, stop what you're doing. It's really important to get a bit that fits very tightly into that screw, so that the head, so there's not a lot of play in it. Yeah, you just want to be able to get it wedged in there and then gently tap it out. But that worked pretty well, and we were able to release the old battery. Next up, it is a case of connecting the new battery. Don't forget, positive first, very important. Ensure you put everything back on there that came off there. So if there's multiple cables, you might have that Optimate charger on there. Just make sure they all go back on there at once. I've merely hand tightened it and then tightened it with a normal screwdriver, because I don't want to over tighten here. It's only a battery connection. As long as it's secure enough, it's fine. It doesn't need to be, you know, thread rippingly tight here. So just do what's needed to get that on. So once that's done, it is then on with the negative side of things. Don't you just love this fast forward feature? I wish real life was like that. And next up, we're going to put the battery back into its housing in the bike, but not all the way. You don't want to secure it all back up in case things don't work. Obviously, we're going to have to test that the bike cranks up. So just kind of sit that there, and then let's jump up to the bike. Right, so before we tighten that all back up, just need to check that it's all working, because there's no point putting it all back in if it isn't. So, looking good, and then crank it up. Should fire. Excellent. So that is it. You have replaced your battery and it's working okay. So it's now just a case of reversing everything that you did earlier. That is getting the battery firmly back into its housing, putting the protective black retaining cover on for the battery, ensuring all your cables are routed correctly, nothing is snagging, don't force anything, and then tighten everything back up and you are done. Last bit is to get the belly pan on and you are good to hit the road. And that is it, guys. That simple, pretty much in real time. So don't be scared about changing a battery on your motorbike. Normally very easily, especially on the Diavel where the battery is very easy to access, but it is the case on most motorbikes, at least I think. Anyway, if you do try it, good luck. If you like, please subscribe and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.